I've got a common workshop problem and today we're solving it. My workshop quickly turns into an obstacle course of hoses and it's like tug of war with an octopus. In this video, I'll show you one easy build that'll transform your cluttered shop into an efficient workspace. I'll build it using mostly scraps and use some clever hardware I haven't seen used before. In the end, I'll have less clutter, more efficiency, and a clear floor. Now that's a workshop win. There are many other very creative boom arm designs out there. This build is my version. Here's where all of those maybe I'll need it someday scraps finally proved their worth. The entire frame came from scrap plywood that's been taking up valuable shop space. For strength across the span, I used 3/4 inch plywood on the bottom and lighter 1/2 inch plywood for the sides to help keep the weight down. And here's a fun fact, the 1/2 inch plywood that I'm using came from the walls of my first ever workshop. It's really satisfying giving this material new life in this workshop. Since the arm is cantilevered and unsupported at one end, minimizing weight is important. I'm drilling large, weight reduction holes down the center of all three sides. For the 3/4 inch bottom piece, I made 2 cuts for one extra large hole at the end, making room for the vacuum hose using a 2-inch Forstner bit. To cut the holes, I started with my standby Makita battery-powered drill, but those big holes literally made the drill say, "Nah, I'm good." So I brought in the heavyweight champ, my corded drill, and what a difference. The corded drill powered through effortlessly. The power could easily be too much and really tear out the holes, so I was easy on the start, and then once the bit really started digging in, I'd unleash the power, as Arnold would say. I had 2 holes that wandered off center and I couldn't complete the cut, so I fixed them by aligning the bad cuts with pre-drilled holes in the 3/4 inch board, which acted as a guide. This trick worked perfectly. It gives the bit stability so it doesn't wander and it easily completes as a clean cut. Once the holes were cut, I softened the edges with a trim router and a roundover bit. And while I was here, I gave the edges a nice roundover as well. The arm's total length is about 67 inches. Since my 1/2 inch plywood scraps were only 48 inches, I extended the sides with additional scrap pieces, adding notches to hold extra vacuum hose and reduce the weight of the far end. Okay, now it's getting fun. Let's assemble the parts and build this arm. I glued and pin nailed the bottom pieces to one of the sides and then repeated the process for the other side. And here's where these filler parts get attached to extend the side rails. To reinforce the back of the arm, where it mounts to the wall, I glued in a double thick plywood block at the top. And then for added support, I'm making angled brackets at the bottom to distribute the downward force. I'm not an engineer, but this seems right in my head. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I set my board in place, found the angle that I wanted, cut it with my track saw, and then I used that cut to trace and cut out the matching angled board. I attached the first angled support, but I'm going to wait to attach the opposite one so I have room inside this cavity to work. I'm adding more bulky reinforcement on this bottom end. I want these parts to match the angle of the triangle just for aesthetics, so I set the board in place, followed the angle with a pencil, and then made the cut at my miter saw. Before we continue, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Woodworkers Guild of America, which is an online community of great woodworkers where members can learn, advance, and discover tons of step-by-step projects. Whether you're just starting out or you've been a woodworker for years, their library of premium content covers everything from basic shop safety to advanced furniture making techniques. I personally have enjoyed tutorials on project design and workshop organization, which are 2 of the many things they offer that I'm very interested in. One of the best parts is you can join live stream sessions where expert instructors answer your questions in real time. And the community aspect is fantastic. Being able to connect with other woodworkers and share ideas has been really inspiring and helpful. So here's a really good offer just for my viewers. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description will get a full year of premium content to the Woodworkers Guild of America for only $1.49. I literally had to read that a few times just to make sure it was right. 1 full year of premium content for $1.49. That's instant access to step-by-step projects, detailed tutorials, and a supportive community, all dedicated to helping you create cool, one-of-a-kind pieces with your own hands. So don't miss out. If you're at all interested in woodworking, seriously, take advantage of this deal with the Woodworkers Guild of America. Click the link below to get started. Okay, I love this part. This is what I came up with for the attachment hardware. I found heavy-duty stainless steel J-bolt gate hinges, perfect for supporting cantilevered weight and allowing smooth rotation. I'm going to attach one at the top and one at the bottom of the back of my arm. And this 7/16 spade bit was the perfect size to drill for the holes. The bit blew out the back from the first hole, which I expected, but I decided to drill a little cleaner on the second hole and added a sacrificial block to the back of the hole, which eliminated the tear out. And now these bolts can thread right into the holes, secured by washers and nuts on both ends. Super strong. Ensuring both bolts are inserted evenly will make for a seamless swing motion. With all that done, I can now add on this second angled bracket, adding in this little scrap block to the front, which is just there to hold the bracket in position while the glue dries. This is the spot on my wall where I want the boom arm to go. It's a great central location and there's room for it to swing to the right, next to the wall and out of the way. I mounted a 3/4 inch plywood board to the wall, which is going to be my attachment bracket. I screwed it to the studs for support, and then I attached the hinge hardware brackets to this board with bolts. And finally, I dropped the arm onto the brackets and it worked like a dream. That is so cool. The arm rotates smoothly, easily, giving me full access across my shop. I'm so excited. I gave the arm a couple of coats of Halcyon varnish from Total Boat for durability. It's a great finish for this application. In the build video for my miter saw station, you saw that I've been using my Festool dust extractor with my miter saw, which has been absolutely wonderful for my miter saw. But this extractor is way too good to limit it to that one tool, so I'm moving it out here to use with my boom arm. I got a 10-foot extension hose that I ran up through the large opening in the back of the arm. The hose gets attached to a cyclone separator, which is then attached to my extractor. And my green Festool hose gets attached to the other end of the extension hose, complete with the very convenient Bluetooth power on button on the end, which allows for me to remotely turn on the extractor wherever I'm standing with my tool. I love this feature. Okay, when I turned on the extractor to test everything, the air power was so strong that it kept knocking over my cyclone separator. So to fix it, I went over to my small parts bins, found my stash of hooks, secured a hook to the wall, which then secures the cyclone bucket to the wall, and voila, no more tipping. And lastly, I added an overhead power cord along the arm for easy access to power in the middle of my workshop. And there you have it. This easy build has transformed my small shop from an obstacle course into a cleaner, more efficient workspace with no more tripping from cords and hoses. If you're interested, be sure to check out the build plans with everything you need to know. Check out the link below and don't forget to let me know in the comments what you think and if you'd make any cool modifications. Maybe a candy dispenser? Kidding. Mostly.